Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker. Thank you so much for joining us. And you know, one of those things that we're always glad to have is some of our local leadership, some of the people that are doing their job taking care of us. Very often they have to stop what they're doing to be able to spend some time with us. And so very glad in this Troop C segment to welcome in Trooper Ross Brennan per Skype. Ross is the Public Information Officer there at Troop C. Ross, welcome to the program.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Appreciate it. Appreciate you letting me come on this way. I'm actually coming to you from Opelousas today. We had a training session at a high school teaching 10th graders about the importance of not driving impaired, wearing the seatbelt, not being distracted behind the wheel. So that's why we're out doing it via Skype.
Well, we appreciate it very much. You know, one of those things that's so very important is when you guys are out and telling people what to do and how to do it, they need to realize that y'all are doing those trainings. And it's not just something we talk about. It's not just something we spend time here at HTV talking about. It's the things that you guys are really doing. And y'all see most of the 10th grade classes in the area. Is that right?
Yes, we're about to start up. We went to go meet with the schools yesterday. We're going to try to get the programs called Sudden Impact. It's actually it's put on by the state police and also University Medical Center. And in Terrebonne Parish, Terrebonne General helps out with the hospital on that end. And we go into all the different schools. Like I said, we teach them about the importance of not driving impaired, wearing the seatbelt, not being distracted, different hazards that drugs can potentially cause. And also, that at a young age they're starting to drive, but then they're also going to be going off to college and they're going to be by themselves. And they're going to have to be making those right decisions when nobody's really around, like a parent or a guardian. So we're just trying to instill those good building blocks for them to have a safe and, a good future when they're traveling the roadways and different things like that.
Yeah, and it's really good. You know, my brother once made the comment, we always like to talk about how it's really good to learn from our own mistakes, but it's really good to learn from other people's mistakes. That Sudden Impact program is just like that. That's what it does. It helps you learn to not do what people maybe before you have done with bad decision making behind the wheel.
Exactly. In the middle of it is too late. Whenever you're about to get in a crash or whatever, you can't pause time and be like, hold up, I wish I would have made a different decision. So now is the time before you even get on the roadway. Make sure that seatbelt's buckled in. Make sure you have a plan. If you're planning on driving impaired, if you had a few drinks, try not to drive impaired. Try to have a different ride. Start having those options before you get on the roadway. Hopefully, we can alleviate some tragedy in the future.
Yeah, one of those things that we're always prepared for, trying to prepare for, as we look at this potential storm they're saying to develop into a hurricane, which we feel may be impact over the weekend or even soon thereafter. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that happened for you guys at Troop C behind the scenes getting ready for a hurricane.
Yeah, certainly. So right now we are talking with the governor's office of emergency preparedness. In addition to the state level, we're also talking to the local level, Terrebonne Parish, trying to figure out what this storm's going to do. It still is a tropical depression right now. They're talking about possibly Saturday it might become Hurricane Ida, last I heard. But looking at that cone of trajectory, Louisiana is basically in it from one end of the state to the other end. So there's kind of some uncertainty right now where it's going to go, but it's looking like we're going to take a hit. Hopefully this thing might die down, but from the last forecast I saw, it might be possibly a very strong 2 or a low category 3 when it's coming on landfall. And they're talking about maybe Sunday, early Monday, it might come through. So, we're starting to monitor these situations. I know the more southern areas by the Gulf, they're starting to monitor water coming in, especially down like Fouchon, different things like that, going to the port with LA1. We're going to have more troopers on the roadway, kind of keep the eye on the weather conditions. So now is the time to start preparing. If you live in a low-lying area, don't wait till the last minute. Start thinking of these hurricane preparedness tips right now before it's too late, Sunday or early Monday.
Yeah, and one of those things over the weekend, we know that you guys are going to be out there and be present. Let's talk a little bit about one of those things that if we do have to get people out, if we need to really make sure that people are having to leave their area, talking a little bit about how you help with doing that when we have to leave the area.
Yeah. So when it comes to leaving the area, the first thing you should do is listen to your local officials. Like I said, they're with us. They're in touch with the governor's office. They're in touch with the local emergency preparedness office. Listen to them. Listen to their advice. They're going to try to make the best decision for the citizens, whether they need to evacuate or not. Also, like I said earlier, start thinking about it now. If you typically in the past maybe had experience with flooding, try not to leave at the last minute, because what's going to happen is if there is a call possibly to evacuate, if everybody and their mother is trying to evacuate at one time, that causes traffic congestion. We're starting to look at evacuation times being extended, and it causes a bunch of different issues where people kind of went ahead earlier before the storm actually hit and start leaving then. But ultimately, you got to make the best decision for you and your family. As far as us goes, whenever we have an evacuation or people start moving out, especially from Grand Isle, and storm surge coming in, a lot of time people move up north. We have more troopers on the roadway. They're able to prepare for possibly more crashes. Unfortunately, a lot of times whenever we have evacuations, we do have more crashes. People have different things going on. They have the kids, they got the animals inside the car. They might not be completely focusing what's happening on the roadway at that time. A lot of times we have these little minor crashes, little fender benders, things like that. I mean, that all eats up time if you're trying to leave the area. So if you are leaving, try to focus, pay attention, be aware of your surroundings. That helps us out. We monitor traffic on US 90. If it is a really severe storm, we also help out with evacuations on interstates, major highways, different things like that, trying to ensure everything runs smoothly and these people can get out their way in the event of is a major storm that comes in.
Well, Trooper, we appreciate your guidance. We appreciate your education and dedication to what you're doing. And thank you for coming to talk with us, even while you're out doing those trainings, like you said. We're going to come back to you and talk with you a little bit more, talk about a little bit of some of the safety that Troop C provides for us during holidays. But we always appreciate your time here today.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And again, we appreciate that. That is Trooper Ross Brennan coming to you by Skype. He's out on the road taking care of keeping us safe. The Public Information Officer over at Troop C. Always glad to have him. And we'll have a whole lot more when we continue on this edition of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.